Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be discussing how to solve for the third layer with the corners in the correct orientation. Corners are already in the correct location, and now we want to get these corners to rotate around so that they're on the matching side, respective side that they should be. For example, this blue, red, and yellow cube should be oriented with the red, blue, and yellow faces. So with this one here, it actually causes your cubes to, if you were to look at a corner, from this perspective, it would cause these things to rotate in a counterclockwise fashion. So the blue face here would pop down to the yellow face would rotate over here to the orange would rotate over here to where the blue is. So it's going to twist in a counterclockwise fashion, okay? And causes all three of these cubes to rotate at the same time, or all three corners except for one. And this one was a little tricky, and I had to pick this back up. I learned it in a couple of different ways, and I can only remember the one way. So with this one, if they're all off by a rotation or two, then I've found that I want to find the corner that has to move 2 rotations to get to where it needs to be. And if you play around with this enough, you'll find out that for yourself, if you do it the same way, this is probably true for you too. So basically, if all of the orientations can't get to where they need to be in one rotation, including the one that doesn't move, if it's not already set, like this one here, this one's already in the correct orientation. If that wasn't there and all of these were looking like this, then I would probably want to make sure that that one that requires 2 rotations not to move. So this maneuver here requires you to actually flip your orientation of the entire cube. I always told you that white was on top. Well, now it's going to be yellow for this one, this particular algorithm. So now we're going to find the cube that you don't want to move, and you're going to put that to the back right corner. So for me, here's my right hand, and here's the back right corner. I don't want this one to move because it's already in the right orientation, and I can see that in one counterclockwise rotation of the individual cube, this is going to be moved over here to the orange side, and then orange is going to come up here. So I actually had that backwards. Well, we're going to move on. So I had thought that I didn't want that one to move, but this one requires 2 rotations. So it's got the blue's got to go over here, and then the blue also has to go to here. So that means it's got to rotate 2 times. This red one's got to go down here, and then it's got to go over here 2 times. 2 times. And this one's not going to move. So yeah, we're still okay. This is still going to work. I'm going to make sure that this one doesn't move. And I'm going to have to execute this maneuver twice. So as I said before, it's going to go in the back right corner away from me, and I'm looking at the yellow as the top face now. Okay, so putting the green and orange face in the back right puts the red face to me. And what we're going to do, the sequence for this, is once you have this cube in this orientation, you're going to put execute these maneuvers is R prime. It is going to be R U2 R prime U prime R U prime R prime, and then I believe you want to twist that top piece twice, so it's going to be U2. So when I said U2, I mean rotate it twice. So it doesn't matter if it's prime or regular, if clockwise or counterclockwise, because it's going to be in the same position. If I go, twice this way or twice this way, it'll be the same position. It doesn't matter. And I always end up remembering this because it's kind of a retarded, I don't mean to offend anybody by using that word, but it's kind of a silly little rhyme that I made up in my head. So I hold it in the correct orientation where I grab the cube, or the one square I don't want to move, the one corner, put it to the back right of my facing, so it's over here, and now I execute. And I go R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime, U2. Okay, so now this, it never moved. And you can see that all of these squares, all these corners, they're now going to be about one additional rotation away from being in the correct orientation. So the blue's got to go here, red's going to come here. Same for all the corners. So we're going to do that again. I'm going to grab the cube that I don't want to move, put it to the back right corner, and I go R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime, and then rotate this around twice, and boom, we have the corners solved now, and we now need to solve for the last part, which is going to be the middle layers. So there are, I believe, 3 algorithms to this one, and in no particular order. It just depends on the way you see these middle cubes facing. So now we're going to talk about that in a third video.